As always, thank you to the members of the channel. Subscribe to my second channel. Link is in the description. Hello everybody, welcome back to another Thomas Wooden Railway video. And yes, today is going to be another layout tour. I just did not have enough of Thomas Wooden Railway, and so here we are once again with a brand new layout, and I may even make episode 31 of my series very soon and upload it at midnight. Who knows? You'll just have to wait and see. So I guess we'll start with the tour right away. Here we have Brendam Docks. Now this layout does not have the double wide old iron bridge. It does not have my sawmill and dumping depot. It does not have my mountain tunnel, but it does have everything else. Like I said, this room is smaller, so I cannot fit everything and still make it easy to film episodes. I could have the layout in another room and include everything, but that is hardwood floor, and hardwood floor sucks for Thomas Wooden Railway. It is so uncomfortable. So anyways, here is Brendam Docks. Another destination missing from this layout is the barrel loader. I did have that up on my eBay. Someone bought that, so that was sold and shipped out yesterday. So the barrel loader is not here either. There are more items available on my eBay. Just go ahead and check my community posts. So into Brendam Docks, we have the Flying Scotsman, an absolutely gorgeous model. I will say this is one of Mattel's and Fisher-Price's, I guess, gems. This Flying Scotsman model really is a fine piece of work indeed. So here at Brendam Docks, we have the Sodor Bay tugboat. Then we have the grist mill. And then Stepney is here as well with the Sodor fuel and tar tankers. And then the Spiteful brake van. And by the way, this layout video does not have all of the core characters because this is what's fun about Thomas Wooden Railway. I can have random characters mixed in with others that you would never see in the TV series, such as Mavis is near Rusty, and Stepney and the Flying Scotsman are at Brendam Docks, and there's no Salty. So just having fun, that's what Thomas Wooden Railway is all about. So we have two tracks here that go into the ocean, classic for Brendam Docks. And then we have the Mattel and Fisher-Price Cranky the Crane. And then we have the work shed, a bare minimum for Brendam Docks, as I said in my last video, I believe. And then Butch is here as well at the docks. So the docks is very simple, but there is plenty of room for some story potential. On the other side of Brendam Docks, we have Arthur sitting in the work shed having a rest. And then we come into Knapford Station. Now at Knapford Station, we have Spencer from the Edward the Great set with his surprised face. And then we have Bertie and Caroline. Spencer has got his Duke and Duchess's coach, the furniture car from the Duke and Duchess. Here we have the station master. Then we have the classic iconic 2003 Henry with the Knapford Express coach. And like I said, there is no disrespect to Henry on this channel or any of the core legacy characters, unlike from Mattel, Andrew Brenner, and Ian McHugh in the garbage CGI series. So this is the Talking Railway Knapford Station. I love it. I think it's really fun. If I move Henry here, we do get some nice sound effects. And then if I press this, all aboard! Yeah, really cool. So moving on, we showed Brendam Docks and Knapford Station. I'll give you a better view of Knapford from the backside. So here's the Knapford Express coach. The Sodor Mail coach is sitting at a terminal line. Here's a better view of Caroline and Bertie the bus. We have some trees off to the side with my 92 Terrence. And then we have the Tidmouth Covered Bridge, which was not on the previous layout, so I wanted to include it in this one. So we have a nice little viaduct leading from Knapford Station to Brendam Docks. But then we also have a line that leads from Knapford Station as well from the other side underneath the viaduct and through Brendam Docks. So here we have Mavis. And then we have Rusty in a siding. We have a workman. We have a tree. We have our two lorries, Elizabeth and Lorry 1. Lorry 1 has his flatbed. And then we have the Sodor cargo crane. So this is a really cool area. I do like how this turned out. And then we have Toby. Toby has got 2 cargo cars. Very simple, very clean. Again, we don't need to have, you know, everything proper. Toby does not need to have Henrietta. You know, we don't need to have engines 1 through 7, 1 through 8 only. We can throw in whatever character we want, wherever we want. That is the fun of Thomas Wooden Railway. And now we come to the T-switch, where we have Wellsworth Station. And you may be saying, well, why is Murdoch pulling the express coaches? Well, I forget what episode it is, but there is an opening shot in Season 7 where Murdoch is pulling 2 red express coaches, and I thought that was a gorgeous shot. I think it's the opening to Best Dressed Engine, or maybe the Queen of Sodor. I forgot. I completely forgot. Do not quote me on that, but I think it's Best Dressed Engine. Anyways, Murdoch looks very nice with these express coaches. Got the T-switch here, Wellsworth Station. Here we have Bulgy the bus. And then we have Trevor's Orchard with the classic windmill, some trees, some fences that came with the gristmill, and then Trevor, of course. So Edward and Trevor can have some conversations near the track. And then we have the Wellsworth Crossing because we are at Wellsworth Station. Here is George the Steamroller waiting at the crossing. So a very simple area, but turned out very nicely. And then we move along here, and here we have an engine shed, a work shed, off to the side of the main sheds, where we have our tired out expression Edward that came with the Edward the Great set. He's having a rest, and then we also have Henry's Forest log car in the shed there as well. So just a nice little work shed, engine shed, place to store some rolling stock or for the engines to rest. And then we have Duke, because I did want to include some narrow gauge engines on this layout. But one thing I will say is, I don't know how you guys feel about some of the narrow gauge engines in the Wooden Railway line, but I just cannot stand this Rheneas anymore. I used to think this Rheneas was so cool, but this Rheneas is really bad. The color is horrendous. I think his face is... I do like small faces in Wooden Railway, but his just feels a bit too small. And like I said, the color is really bad. And it wouldn't be that bad if you only have old style narrow gauge engines. So for example, if I pull out my old 1997 Sir Handel as well, like these engines don't look out of place. They're all from the same era. They all have wood funnels, small faces, so it works out. But the moment you take out engines like these and have an updated Skarloey and an updated Peter Sam, this doesn't look as well. And especially these two guys together, they look absolutely horrendous. So I just really refrained from having certain narrow gauge engines on the layouts together because it just bothers me. It just does not look good. It's almost like I need to have, like I said, engines from the same era with the same features being, you know, wood funnels, smaller faces from the 90s. I do think those are much better models anyway. So like I said, Duke has got Ada, Jane, and Mabel. We did have to give Duke some rolling stock this time. Then we come to Tidmouth Sheds, and this area turned out very nicely because it just fits in this little area right here between my display case and the bins I store my engines and rolling stock and my Tomy engines in. And then also we have the backdrop of some classic packaging. And yeah, there's the brand new Duck packaging. This 75th anniversary book that somehow was at my house. I don't know when that was given to me. I don't know. I don't know what that garbage is. And then here we have Harold on top of Tidmouth Shed, so I don't step on him and break his propellers. And then we have a tree here. Like I said, brand new roundhouse, which is this one right here. Mint perfect, brand new condition. And then we have James, our 96 beautiful James. Diesel is in the sheds as well with Harvey. And then in this shed, we have Diesel 261. These are 3 engines James does not want to be anywhere near. He could care less about Harvey, Diesel, and the Diesel 261 as well. Then we have the updated re-release Scruffy sitting in a siding. Then we just have some figures. And then the Fat Controller is here at the turntable as well. I do have a turntable that fits in the sheds. It is the one from the 90s, but I just love the brown turntable too much. It's so fluent, smooth. It just is a really nice piece. Here we have another siding, just ending in buffers. So here is the sheds area of the layout. Worked out very nicely, very simple, clean, nice to look at. So we have one more area to cover, and that is, well, starting with the single stone tunnel, going from the brown turntable, but here is Colin the Crane. Now this area turned out very similar to the previous layout, simply because I do like how everything connects to Knapford Station. It connects very cleanly as well. I will say, if you have Knapford Station in your collection and you like to build big layouts, it is not that easy to have a restricted space and still make things look nice, use the destinations you want to use, and connect everything to Knapford without cheating and using V-switches on both sides. You know, I have plenty of V-switches. I could use them on this backside, but it feels like you're cheating, you know? So this area turned out very nicely. Everything connects very smoothly. I mean, very similar to the last layout. And then here we have Sir Topham Hatt's car. So this kind of is just the Knapford yard. A couple switches, you know, some tracks for engines to loop around the layout in. So it's very fluent. I just call this, the big yard, the Knapford yard. I could add some more sidings for the next episode. So there's plenty of room to do what I want to do in the next episode. So here is Colin the Crane. And as you saw in one of my recent videos, we did take off and throw away in the garbage the original black circle stickers that were his pupils, his eye decals. And we have brand new stickers on there, so you can just see how much better the black circles look. They have a matte finish, kind of. They're not so shiny. It just looks so much better. They're perfectly on his eyes, right? They're not peeling off. They're not coming off. We also have some sticky tack holding on his face, so his face is secured better. So Colin is looking better than ever. Better than ever before after our updates. So looking gorgeous. And then we have the 92 Grey Roof Boco off to the side in the yard. A workman is here as well. And then we have 94 Duck, gorgeous Duck with the round roof. He is pulling my milk tanker, my gray troublesome truck, and my original troublesome brake van. So a very OG train here. So like I said, here's the Knapford yard. We can always add some sidings in later if we need to for the episode. But here is the entire layout. I just needed to build another layout. I could have kept the previous one, but I didn't know if I wanted to do more Thomas Wooden Railway content after episode 30. But everybody loved that episode. That episode turned out fantastic. That was a 9-minute episode. I just kept writing, and so it turned out fantastic. Everyone enjoyed it. So, I mean, why not do more? Especially because Thomas Wooden Railway is such a fun brand to work with. You really can do anything you want because, I mean, there's every destination from Sodor is in Thomas Wooden Railway. All the characters, there's actual rolling stock and scenery pieces, and there's really no limit with Thomas Wooden Railway. It's just the most pure Thomas and Friends content, I think, Thomas Wooden Railway. It's amazing. You know, you get to have your own spin on the stories. You know, it definitely takes some talent, you know, to make a good story with Thomas Wooden Railway and, you know, make it visually appealing and just create a good episode in general. So this will be a lot of fun. This is why we had to come back to Thomas Wooden Railway. It just is the best merchandise line by far, without a doubt. But anyways, this has been another layout video featuring an actual Thomas the Tank Engine prop and Colin the Crane. We made history with episode 30, like I said, including Colin the Crane in the episode, giving him more screen time than he ever has before. We made history on this channel, and we're about to make many more videos with Colin in the future, including another episode in my Thomas Wooden Railway series. It's going to be a fun one. So, anyways, last shots of the layout here. Was a lot of fun to build. Built it last night at about midnight. Many times I wanted to rip this up and restart, but we finally figured it out. You kind of have to sacrifice a few destinations to get things to turn out the way you want them to with a restricted space. But anyways, enough of me talking. I want to thank you guys for watching. Be on the lookout for episode 31 of that I will get started on very soon. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.